How's it going, guys? And welcome to your Smackdown review. Now, before we get started here, I'm going to talk a little bit about Raw. Not much to discuss. Probably one of the weirdest things that happened on it was this never-ending Shane McMahon promo. Braun Strowman was demanding an apology, and Shane went off on some weird, can't even call it a tangent. He was just kind of trying to buy time or something like that, and it was really weird. He was standing out of the ring, Braun's in the ring huffing and puffing, and Shane is just toying with the idea that Braun is stupid, but he won't say it. And it kept going on, and he used the word abhorrent 5 times. This was one of the most bizarre things I think I've seen in a while. And on YouTube, it was really weird because they didn't even edit that shit out. It was all there. You saw the whole promo. And he's babbling. He's babbling on. And then at the end, he then finally makes fun of Braun with a stutter. He chases him in the back, Braun does, and Shane makes he's jumped and sped away in his car, but he's really there, and then he finally says, "So stupid." It was really weird that the whole segment was centered around the word stupid, because the whole segment, as far as I'm concerned, was fucking stupid. But something? It still was a better segment than the exploding barbed wired death match at Revolution. I'm being honest right there, because at least, you could look at this and it was so awkward that in a weird way it was kind of entertaining in a way, when, it was just total cringe at the AEW pay-per-view. And by the way, totally unrelated, so I apologize for that, but Tony Khan was making excuses for the pay-per-view, by the way. That was another thing that I saw that I had to talk about it. I was thinking about making another video on it, but I was you know what? I'll just talk about it here. So he's making excuses about Revolution, saying they tried to do something weird. He said Kenny built the death match. He was there with hammer and nails, constructing it. Really? So he's the one who's responsible for it. So it was kayfabed that he somehow built all this stuff, and he's responsible for it. And then they tried to do an angle on Dynamite where Don Callis tried to say maybe they might have sabotaged the match. So somehow they wanted it to fail. Instead of blowing up your arch nemesis, Moxley, you just decide, oh, you know what? Let's just have the most disappointing finish to a match. And people in the comments, you could go right now and look at the Dynamite video when they did the promo. People are praising it. They were praising Callis, and they were praising Omega. They were saying, oh, they turned it into a storyline. What storyline? What's the storyline? That they said they might have ruined the finish to the match just so they couldn't give the fans what they were looking for? That's the excuse they gave. They said, oh, I'm not going to... Don Callis is I'm not going to say it, but, we might have had something to do with it. But he's it made me happy that we didn't give the fans what they wanted. So, so it's kind of they're kayfabing it, but not really. They're admitting that they kind of fucked up, but not really. And so, the interview I'm talking about with Tony Khan was on Fightful, if you're interested. And he sort of makes it was Kenny Omega's fault, but then he also then kind of trips up in a way and then says that, well, what did you expect, that we were going to blow up the talent? Well, I don't know. Then why'd you book the match in the first place if you couldn't deliver on an exploding exploding barbed wire death match? Then why even book this shit in the first place? I mean, you're saying that there's going to be a big explosion at the end of 30 minutes. You reach 30 minutes, and it's not even these people have brought this up, that there was more pyro in Cody Rhodes' entrance than there was for this. We're not saying blow up wrestlers. We're not saying kill wrestlers. We're not saying murder wrestlers. No one said that. But you said that there was going to be a big explosion. And there was nothing. There wasn't even the illusion of one. You know, you like to say that, like, you're the standard bearer now. And you got Tony Khan. Like, everyone was showing, like, I think little videos and, like, GIFs. And Tony Khan is going around now. The man of the people. The man of the fans. The representative of the wrestling world now. I'm your friend. I'm here to make wrestling great again. And he's here censoring people. Making, you know, copyright claiming people on Twitter, having their posts taken down for showing the lackluster finish, trying to cover it up. So which one is it, Tony? Anyway, I just had to get off that off my chest, and I just didn't feel like making an extra video on it. So here's that little rant for you. What else did we have? Oh, we had this stupid, not speaking of stupid finishes, but still not as stupid as Revolution. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre clashing with steel chairs, and for some reason this is like supposed to knock them out, and the referee has to call for the bell. Oh, this is so terrible. A spot we've seen 1,001 times now all of a sudden ends a match. This is the means to call off the match, guys. Someone got hit by steel steps. How many hardcore matches have we seen? You know, I reviewed Royal Rumble 2007 where, you know, supposedly Cena did like a face plant into the steel steps, but this is like, you know, not a match ender. I mean, think about it. We've had last man standing matches, street fights, hardcore matches. You had Kevin Owens jumping off a forklift through like a fucking table. You've got him getting thrown off a stage and he's getting back up. But Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, these guys that are in great shape, great endurance, great strength. I mean, these guys, they're going down after stairs to the face. I mean, come on. Come the fuck on. That is not a finish. And that's supposed to get you excited for a fast lane match? I mean, I was like, whoa, are they really doing this finish here? And, yeah. So, we had Bobby Lashley looking dominant. I am so happy to see an Impact Wrestling style Lashley here on WWE. Like I said, I'm not a big Impact Wrestling fan, but Lashley was at least booked right in Impact for what they did with him, making him look dominant, just crushing through everybody. They're not going to keep this up. I just know it. They're going to do something stupid to fuck up the momentum because that's what they do. It would not be WWE unless they did that. So anyway, let's move on to SmackDown. And we kick things off with Daniel Bryan and Edge, and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Edge is like mad at Bryan, but somehow, some way, the promo is, you know, written where they don't even know what the fuck is the problem here. What's the conflict? Bryan is challenging Roman. This makes Edge mad. I don't know because his match is at Mania. It's at Fastlane, so it doesn't matter. I guess he really wanted to face Roman one-on-one. You know, without it being, you know, uncertain if it's going to be Bryan or, you know, or Roman. But he's not saying that. So like, what the fuck is the point here? Like, I'm saying, like, this is the same thing with Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman. Not as bad as that. But what is the point? Get to the fucking point of the promo. Why are you out there? Why is there a conflict? Why are you fighting with each other? I don't know. I'm listening to words. I'm listening to, like, wordplay, you know, all these little cute little things they're throwing in here. At least they didn't use the word abhorrent, but you know, they're just going on, and I'm not getting it. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. But I don't think so. I think it's just that this doesn't make any sense. It's not making any sense to me. They don't know where they're going with this. They're like, is it that hard really to like come up with a storyline or a reason? You decided to make Edge mad at Daniel Bryan. Bryan is not really mad at Edge, but Edge is mad at him. So, like, what the fuck's the problem here? I don't get it. They're both baby faces unless they're looking to change that. The Street Profits and Dominic and Rey Mysterio defeated the Dirty Dogs, Chad and Gable and Otis, and another 8-man tag, and this is completely meaningless. I don't think I ever really mentioned this before, but you've got Michael Cole always like giving these quotes, like he's talking about Rey Mysterio called Otis Chad Gable's puppet. You ever noticed this before? It's just like a random thing that I decided to just talk about here, but it's something that bothered me. Michael Cole is getting all these like quotes and stuff. Why is this stuff never written into promos? Where is this like off-screen like interviewing that's going on with Michael Cole, where we never get to like see these wrestlers talking about this stuff? Like this is the character development through what the commentators are telling us, and that's good. Develop the characters, but like I don't know, Michael Cole's like telling us stuff about this guy. I've been talking about this for years, but you notice this like this is a quote. Like we're supposed to be like, oh wow, he really said that. And the thing is, it's like the quote. What does it even do? Like, yeah, he's his puppet. Okay, like, and the way it's like intensified. Like, I don't know, like, how are we? So, like, Rey Mysterio, I care about because the guy is a legend. But I mean, like, how am I supposed to care about like Otis or Chad Gable? Like, just like all these people are thrown out here. The Street Profits are annoying. What are they even doing with Otis? We had some sort of a direction with him, and now it's just completely lost. Like, we had something with, Mandy Rose, sort of, and we kind of knew he was a lovable goofball, and I really started to like the guy, but, now I don't know. They're trying to make like he's being controlled by Chad Gable, but, Otis is now losing and stuff. So it's not like it's not working. So why is he even listening to Chad Gable? It doesn't make any sense. Like I said this. Why is he taking advice from a guy that used to be called Shorty G a few months ago? Does that make sense to anybody? Why would you take advice from a guy who has a failed WWE career? This reminds me of Titus Worldwide. Like, why were people aligning themselves with Titus O'Neil when his career was not going well for himself? It's not going to be a good look when someone's leading a faction, but they're not successful as a singles wrestler. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I guess it does to them for some reason. They feel like, oh, well, this is going to start them on the track to success. It really is just sending them on a further track to failure is what it is. And we got another meaningless 8-man tag. Ziggler and Rude, talented guys. I keep saying this, but like, you don't even realize these are the tag champions. Like, I'm not saying I want the Street Profits to be tag champs. I don't care who are even tag champs. But why did you take the belts off of them? Just so these guys could hold them, and you don't even really make a big deal out of them? You barely even show them or really even like make them look like champs. The tag division is finished. It truly is. Like, the tag titles are probably the most worthless belts. You created a second set of belts again after you unified them just to expand them into 2 belts again. And now, like, you don't even care about either set. You don't care about either tag champions. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Who's up next? We've got Molly Holly being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I didn't even realize that she wasn't even in the Hall of Fame. Did anyone even notice that? Because I didn't. I've kind of lost track of the Hall of Fame. Who's in it? Who's not in it? So when they announce somebody that's like not in it, I'm like, really? They're not in it? Like, I don't know. I've just like stopped caring about the Hall of Fame. It's not like, everyone who's in the Hall of Fame pretty much deserves to be in there, but it's not like a big deal to me. I don't watch the Hall of Fame. I really don't. Like, I don't remember the last time I even watched the Hall of Fame. I think I might have watched the first one, and then from that point, I never watched it ever again. It's just, I don't know. It's just doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't excite me. I remember, for years and years, I was like, oh, who's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? And then it just lost its luster. Just doesn't matter to me anymore. We've got Nia Jax taking Reginald shopping. I don't know why, but, I appreciated the effort. I just thought it was really weird that out of all things that they could put effort and production in and finally leave the arena, finally leave the safety, cozy nature of the Thunderdome, something that they don't do really ever, and they do it for a silly segment like this where it doesn't, okay, so obviously the storyline here is that they're alluding to the fact that Nia Jax is flirting with Reginald, but it's really, just supposed to make Sasha Banks jealous. Even though Sasha Banks hasn't really shown that she's interested in Reginald, but we'll get to that. And probably what's going to be the most uninteresting storyline heading into WrestleMania. I mean, it's an attempt at something, but I gotta say I appreciated that they at least tried here. Reginald at least, seemed into it. Everyone seemed into it for the most part. So, okay. Effort. Yay. This is the thing. It's I always have to, be honest with you guys. And I see, they're taking it out of the arena. They took a camera into a clothes store. They're shooting it. And, it's nice. It's nice to get out of the arena. It's refreshing. But, is it a good segment? Is it something I'm saying, oh, well, this is funny? This is entertaining? Not really. It wasn't really funny or anything like that. Or, it didn't really teach us anything about these characters. It was just okay, you did something nice. You edited it up, you put it together, and it's something different than matches and promos. So yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's I'll say it. It's effort. So it's okay, I'll take it, but it could be better. You could apply this concept to things that are more worthy of this editing and taking out of the arena, your main event at WrestleMania, maybe, or something like that. At least they're the Intercontinental title, at the very least. All right, but anyway, Cesaro defeated Murphy by disqualification when Seth Rollins ran in. Seth Rollins must have said, get up, the ringing in your ears. All these taunts, and it sounded just so annoying and cheesy, and I don't understand why Seth Rollins hates him so much, because he made he wasn't going to walk out in the speech, and then he walked out in the speech. So now Seth is really mad at him for this. It doesn't really seem justifiable, but okay. Then Seth runs into Naka Murphy backstage and kind of just stares him down. Oh, all right. Not much to say about this. I just have to say that Seth taunting somebody is just probably the most comical, ear-bleedingly bad thing I've probably ever had to listen to. And that's probably hyperbole, because I said the Street Profits segment when they were in that little, OBS box at the bottom, that was one of the most annoying things. But it started reaching into that territory. Get up! Stand up! It's not that easy, is it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It seems pretty easy to me, Seth. Okay, anyway, the Kevin Owens show, the KO show, call it what you will. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks star on this. Kevin Owens just looks like a straight up fucking bum. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you here. Him wearing that tie and the t-shirt, seriously, Kevin Owens just looks so out of place. He looks like a straight up, homeless person. Honestly, that is what it's really come to. I am so sick to death of this fat bastard being on my TV. I really am. I mean, it's just like, why is he there? Why is he interviewing them? Why does he have a talk show? I've really just like had it with this guy. I mean, this is just really, to me, now he's just worthless. He doesn't look like a star. He just is just a straight up fucking looking bum. I mean, really. Now's the point where you've just got to like, if we're sending people down to the performance center, get this guy in shape already. He shouldn't be in a championship match at the Royal Rumble. I mean, you got to put this guy on a diet plan. You got to put this guy on a workout plan. I mean, this guy is like, he's just a fat goofball already. And this is not good. This wasn't a good segment. We talk a little bit about Reggie. Oh, Reggie, saying, like, why are you flirting with him and everything? And you don't even like him. Okay. And then we get a match. Once again, like a very awkward transition. Like after the thing with the, where they're here and then they just automatically have a match right after the interview segment. Anyway, we've got Natalya and Tamina defeating Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And Reginald is standing up on the table. Sasha Banks gets up, in his face, up on the table. And she's like annoyed at him. So I don't really see like what is this thing like where they're supposed to have like a crush on each other. And we've got Tamina rolling up. Again, another roll-up finish because that's just, that's the kind of finish you want to see on your Royal Rumble winner. Tamina, who I have praised and said, like, okay, I'm happy that they didn't have Tamina job out here. But if all people that you could have her beat, you have her beat your Royal Rumble winner? Right before these girls are supposed to challenge for the tag titles. And, of course, they're going to have them go in to WrestleMania as tag champions. And that is a fun idea. As Kevin Owens even said, they brought up John Cena and Shawn Michaels going into WrestleMania, facing off against each other as tag champions. And, that adds a bit of a lore to it. It's definitely quite a bit of a step down from John Cena and Shawn Michaels, to say the least. To say the very least. I mean, Shawn Michaels and John Cena at WrestleMania 23 and then Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. I mean, which one of those matches is a better tag team champ versus tag team champ match? I don't even think you need to answer that one. It's kind of, it's really just a rhetorical question. Because we all know which one it is. Anyway, Bianca Belair is all upset about this. Like, seriously, why would you beat her right before Mania? When, like, momentum is everything and you want to make Belair seem like a threatening challenge. And she gets beat up by Tamina, who they've jobbed out for years and years and years and years and years and years. I mean, she's been in the company since 2010, right? Something like that. And you have never made a big deal out of her. What you made her AJ's bodyguard and a few other little things. She tag teamed with Nia Jax for a cup of coffee. I mean, like, this is the legacy of Tamina. Meanwhile, she could be side by side with Roman Reigns, but now they're not going to do that. Instead, you know what? Let's use her just to make a fool out of Bianca Belair right before WrestleMania. Great idea there, guys. Just a great way to build your new women's star. Okay, Big E comes out, cuts a promo. I don't know, but like, this is like another thing where like just he was kind of acting weird in this promo. He seemed a bit off. Anyway, Corbin comes out. He's asking for Cruz to come out, Apollo Cruz, to accept this challenge for the IC belt. He won't come out for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. Like, he has such a problem with Big E. He's not coming out when he's calling him. So it's an open challenge now. And we've got Baron Corbin coming out. And we've got Sami Zayn. They're arguing with each other. And for some reason, instead of Baron Corbin just rearing back and just punching Zayn in the face because, they were arguing with each other. He walked down his match last week. No, instead, Big E says whoever gets in the ring first gets the match, and Corbin just walks away after this. Like, okay, like, all right. It's not like you have this big 6'8" guy, who just got shown up by this goofy Sami Zayn guy over here, this goofy SJW. He's just gonna let him take his spot in the match. Oh, no problem. I thought that was weird, like, he's just gonna let him go. Anyway, Big E beats him. Apollo Crews comes in at the end and attacks him with the steel steps. Again with the steps. It's steps everywhere. It's Steps Mania. Steps on Raw, steps last week on SmackDown, steps again on SmackDown this week. I guess WWE, they can't get enough of steps, or Apollo Crews loves steps. I mean, I don't know. Maybe leading up to his house, he has like 70 steps or something like that. I don't get it. They're all made out of steel. Like, I don't understand. This is all they're doing now, like hitting people in the head with steps. Like, there's no other weapon. Like, we're just gonna take a break from chairs and focus on the steps. Like, they haven't focused on that in years. Like, it's not a new thing. I don't know why they're making, like, the steel steps are just suddenly this newfound devastating weapon that could just, like, KO somebody in an instant. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it was just kind of like a transitional thing that they used to do in, like, main events and stuff. Now it's like this crushing weapon all of a sudden. Anyway, we get the contract signing. It's Roman and Daniel Bryan, and now Roman is saying that he doesn't think that Bryan deserves it, and Bryan calls him a coward. Oh, he called him a coward. Ooh, like can we get like any different verbiage at all? Is that possible? Everyone's a coward. Everyone's a chicken. It's just like such predictable wording of these promos. And you obviously know, like, this is not the words that they would be saying if they were in control of their own promos. Anyway, I guess you could say that Pierce projected a bit more. The audio didn't go astray, which was nice for a change. Oh, what a novel concept. I could actually hear the promo. Am I supposed to praise it because I could actually hear it? It was actually audible for a change? Is that, like, something that we should be happy about? I guess. Anyway, Jey Uso says make him the enforcer for the match. Edge comes out and says they're going to have a match next week. He worded this really weird. Like, Edge came out and said for the first time in 11 years, I'm going to wrestle you. Didn't he mean to say, like, for the first time in 11 years, I'm wrestling on SmackDown? But it came out really weird. Like, the first time in 11 years, did you ever wrestle Jey Uso? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So they're gonna have a match. He says, we're gonna, if I win, I'll be the enforcer at Fastlane. If you win, you'll be the enforcer. So Pierce says whatever, because he's always losing control. Whatever you wrestlers want, please, just don't hurt me. I promise I'll project more. Like, this guy is he's such a fucking wimp. Get him off the goddamn show already. Oh my god, like. Why is this guy the authority figure? He's so lame, and he's just there like, like, I don't know. I look at Adam Pearce's face, and he's just so devoid of anything. Like, there's no charisma, there's no character, there's not even a facial expression that exists. It's just, duh. Like, yeah, duh. That's what I look at him and, duh. Like, you want to talk about stupid, like Shane McMahon talking about stupid. Pierce over here, stupid look on his face. That's what I would say. That's you want to know where you could apply the word stupid. It really is to Adam Pearce and his GM or weird authority figure character, whatever you want to refer to it as. Anyway, we've got Bryan just randomly hitting Edge with a knee. So, I don't know. Bryan is getting heel heat on Edge for some reason, even though it seemed more like Edge was healing on Bryan in the opening segment. I don't know. Okay, like, yeah, and that's the end of the show. So, like, I'm like really confused with this whole Edge Roman. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, people are they're praising AEW. They're praising the head of the table thing, and I'm just sitting here just saying, like, what? Like, what's even going on in this show? Doesn't even make any sense. Like, Edge is mad at Bryan because he wanted to face Roman, and like he can't even explain why. Like, if you're gonna write their promos on paper, can they at least make sense? Like, you're writing this, and does anyone even say, like, this doesn't even make any fucking sense? No, they just say it and it's said. But this is not a new problem. People I see, like, they talk about this stuff online like it's a new problem. They've been doing this for years. I feel like on YouTube I've been talking about this same problem since 2012, when we started reviewing wrestling shows weekly on this channel. That's how long we've been talking about this problem with promos and explanations. When a wrestler does something, when a wrestler turns heel, they always come up with the lamest excuses. These promos make no sense at all, and that's what we got here. There's no explanation given to this. There is, like, words being traded, but these words are valueless. They have no meaning because they're just being floated around. It's like a Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon's promo on Raw was probably the biggest example of just promos just going awry. Like, that was just a perfect example of how these promos are, like, just, there's no point to them. They exist just to have promos, not to be good, not to be thought-provoking or entertaining. They're just there because a wrestling show should have promos. Anyway, I mean, what do you want me to say? This show is just flat-out terrible. It's awful. I mean, at least it wasn't painful like Revolution. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the review. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post on my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.